Hi, in this video I'm going to show you how to use a client-side date editor control by Infogesics. What I have in front is the Visual Studio 2010 with an ASP.NET MVC project, but we're not going to use MVC, we're going to use just simple HTML page to create a couple of date editor controls and set up some properties. So I'm going to come down my project here and add a new HTML page, and we're going to call this igDateEditor. Once we have that page, we need a couple of things before we can start writing code. We need the JavaScript references and we need the CSS files so that it can run on the client and it looks good using the CSS settings. So I'm going to come to my scripts folder and I'm going to drop the jQuery core because it's a jQuery control, and also the jQuery UI. Once I have these two dependencies, I can come and drop the Infogesics JavaScript library, which contains all the client controls, and then grab the CSS files. So I can come here in my IG base and drop the igui.min.css, and in my other folder there's a jQuery UI.custom.css. Now all these references and scripts and CSS are part of the install, so when you install the product, you can go to install location and grab these references and put it in your project, and you can just drag and drop just like what I did. So once we have the necessary script and CSS references, we can come down in our body and basically create a couple placeholders for our control. So we're going to say a date editor 1 and do the same thing and give it a different ID, date editor 2. With these two controls in our body, we're going to write some script and convert these two div elements to Infogesics date editor controls. So first of all, I need to define my script block, and in here we're going to use the jQuery onload method, and we know that's going to fire once the DOM is initialized. So now we are good to grab our DOM elements, which is a date picker 1 or date editor 1, and call the jQuery plugin on it. So we'll do igDateEditor. And once we do that, it's going to take that element here and convert it to Infogesics date editor control. Once we have that done, in here it's just a matter of setting up the default options you want the control to be enabled, and it's going to take all these settings and you'll have a date editor control on the client side. So we're going to just set a couple of properties here. We're going to set the null text first, which is going to be displayed when there is no value in the editor control. So we're going to call it annotate, so the user knows what this editor is for. And we're going to set up a date input format. Now date input format and date display format are the couple of properties that you're pretty much going to use every time. It allows you the ability to set up the date format that you want the end user to enter in. So for example, we want the user to enter 2 digits for day first, and then 2 digits for month, and 2 digits for the year. So this is our input format, and you can set it up however you want. You can set it up to be 2 days, or if you want to have it and have 3 places for the month and 4 places for the year, you can do that, customizing this. So there's a bunch of other mask settings that you can put in here. You can check out the documentation on that. So it's pretty flexible on how you can set this thing up. And these are the only two properties I want to set here, and we're going to copy this thing and put it here, and this thing now, because we changed the ID, it's going to grab the other div element and convert that into a date editor control as well. But we're going to do something different here. I'm going to remove this comma. We are going to set up a display format, which is similar properties the input format, but the difference here is that the input format is for the user while they're entering value in the editor control, and the display format is once they move off the control, it can display in a different format if you wanted to. So we're going to set up a format here saying 2 digits for the days, but 3 for the month, and 4 places for the year. So we'll see at runtime what this does to the control. So I'm going to just right click and view this in the browser. You can see at runtime we have the two input boxes here, both having a null text set to enter date, which means that the jQuery plugin has successfully converted our div elements into the inflogistics editor control. And now I can come here and I get to see the sort of the formatting on how I can enter date. So I have 2 places for my day. So I'm going to use 12th of August 87, and I'm going to hit the tab key, and the format stays the same. So the input format was the same as the display format here because we didn't specify anything. But if I do enter the same exact date here, 12th of August 87, and tab out of it, you saw that it's in a different format. The reason here is that we set up a different format for display versus the input format. So if I click here, I still get the input format, but the display format is going to use whatever we set in the options there. So you saw in this example, it's fairly easy to grab any HTML element and convert that into a inflogistics data editor control by calling the jQuery wrapper on it. And you have the ability to set input mask and a display mask to be different or the same, however you want to set up the control. Thanks for watching this video.
Inflogistics. On the web at inflogistics.com.